Hey YouTube, Christina K here from WriteYourBestBook.com, and today we're going to discuss how to overcome or defeat perfectionism when writing a novel. So this is something that I believe is highly common amongst many different authors, across many different genres, across many different levels of experience. It happens to new authors especially, but it also happens to veteran authors. It happens to me. I don't even know how many books I've written, 8 published, and I still feel that way sometimes. So before we dive into this topic, I want to ask you kindly to please, if you love our channel, please subscribe. And all the information you need to find us, reach us, work with us, reach out to us is all in the description of each video. But we do ask that you subscribe because we're new. Look at, we only have a handful of followers, but we just started a few months ago and we're growing. So help support Write Your Best Book by subscribing to this channel, and you'll be notified whenever we drop a new video, which is once a week or so. All right, so that being said, let's dive into perfectionism when writing a novel. So first, let's define perfectionism. What is perfectionism? That is when you just feel like nothing that you're doing is good enough. You're getting distracted. Something's getting in the way of you writing because you're comparing yourself to others. You think your work is not good enough. Nobody should read this or could read this or would read this, right? Here are some symptoms of perfectionism in writing. And I want you to note the commonality between these different feelings that you're going to experience. Okay, first is the feeling of failure when it comes to your work. Like, I just feel like a failure. And that's because it's not good enough, right? In your mind. Next is lack of satisfaction in your own writing because it's not good enough, right? In your mind. Aggravating the fear and stress at the thought of even writing something that anyone is going to read. All right. Another is the inability to stop editing, and you keep writing and then editing and then writing and then editing and writing, and you just won't move on. And then the other symptom is losing that fun and enjoyment that you used to feel or you felt before you began writing, and now it's gone. All of those boil down to one commonality, which is what? You don't feel like you're good enough. But the next natural question is why? Why do we feel that way? Well, the thing is, we're comparing ourselves, I think, in almost every situation of perfectionism to other authors, whether they're the Stephen Kings of the world or the Colleen Hoovers or Sarah J. Maas or whoever we may be comparing ourselves to. We're not looking at our own writing or how good it is in its own merit. We're looking at other authors. Now listen, I know for me personally, when I feel like I'm suffering from perfectionism, that's exactly what happens. I could be writing and feel like I'm doing a great job, no problems. Then I go to pick up a book by one of my favorite authors. Suddenly, I suck. Suddenly, my book sucks. I'm not good enough. Why do I bother? That's why I'm an indie author. Why am I not selling like such and such or so and so? So see, everybody feels that way. All right, so you're not alone in feeling perfectionism and suffering from this feeling of not ever being good enough. But I want to tell you a couple things, and then we'll talk about how you can overcome perfectionism. One thing that you need to remember when you're comparing yourself to other authors is that they started somewhere too. You know, they started as beginners at some point. And you don't know how many books they wrote before they finally got published, or they finally got that one successful novel. If you look at Amazon or Goodreads, sometimes you'll notice they may even have some backlist books you've never even heard of. For example, I know personally, I have found many writers, and they're big name writers. And I pick up a book and it's great and I read it, and then lo and behold, they have 10 books on their backlist that not many people have even heard of because you've only seen that really big success story. And the other thing to remember when comparing yourself to other authors is you're only seeing the perfect or somewhat perfect, polished, edited version. You're never seeing the first draft. Sarah J. Maas will never release, most likely, I don't want to speak for her, but most likely she will never release the very first rough draft of A Court of Thorn and Roses or whatever her first book was, right? She'll never do that, because who wants anyone to see the imperfections, the screw ups, the typos, the things that don't make sense, the storylines that aren't connected? We all do it. They do it. They have insecurities too, but you're only seeing the very best of the best. Okay? You're only seeing their best work. And beyond that, you're only seeing the best work of the best of the best. Makes sense? So you're seeing the top 5% of writers and their very best, very well edited versions of their books. So you're not alone. You can't compare yourself to them, because you're comparing. It's like a woman comparing herself to supermodels, or these Victoria's Secret models, or Princess Diana when she was alive, or whoever you compare yourself to look up to. They're not perfect, A. B, it's not realistic to compare yourself to someone who you're not seeing the real thing. Even with these Victoria's Secret supermodels, okay, maybe naturally they're gorgeous. That's true. We'll have to admit that. But you're never going to see them unless you find a candid photo online. You're not going to see them with their pimples and their cellulite and all the bad angles and wearing sweat shorts, and you're not going to see it. They prefer you not to see that. So just keep in mind, you're comparing yourself to authors and to books that is just not a realistic comparison. Okay, so hopefully I've given you some food for thought there. Let's talk about how to actually defeat perfectionism. Okay, one thing, the very most important thing that you can do is to practice and learn and get better, because that's going to help. That's going to go miles and miles towards making yourself feel better about your own work. Now, if you just sat down, typed up a book, plopped it up on Amazon, you're not going to feel great about yourself, because you're not going to get good reviews. You're not going to get a lot of sales, because you haven't put your everything into it. You haven't polished it. You haven't edited it. And you haven't got a great cover. And you haven't taken the time to really, really learn the craft of writing. So the first bit of advice is to learn the craft and to practice. It may not be that good, the first draft, but Malcolm Gladwell said once that it takes like 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything. So how could we possibly, and a book takes 20, 25, 30 hours if you combine it all together to write. So why would we think that in that amount of time we're going to be an expert? We're not. You got to practice. All right, another thing is we procrastinate when we feel perfectionism. So one thing you can do is to stop wasting time and feel like our work is never complete and we get stuck. So what you can do is to keep track of your ideas. Even if you're not currently writing, if an idea hits you and you're sitting on the couch watching TV, or you're out with friends, or you're somewhere, keep track of your notes in some kind of app on your phone. There's tons of apps. Somewhere we have a list of apps on our website, I believe. But you can always use an app or your notes system in your computer or your whatever to write down that idea that you had. All right, because most ideas are born when you're waking up at night, or when you're first laying down to go to bed, or in the shower, or driving. So give yourself a moment to write down and capture those ideas. Okay, another thing that you can do to overcome perfectionism is to show your work to other writers or avid readers. Now, I know that's hard to do, and it's kind of makes you nervous. The whole point is that you feel imperfect, right? Well, why don't you try sending just a few chapters at a time? Find one of your loyal readers, because I guarantee you, if you've published anything, even if you haven't published anything, but you've been sharing your work to anybody, everybody's got that one good thing. And think about who that is. Your mom, your cousin, your friend that you met on Facebook. Send them your chapters and get some feedback. Now, yes, it's going to serve two purposes. One, you'll get feedback on things that do need to get fixed, and hopefully they'll be honest about that. But most likely, they're going to tell you, this is really good. Keep it up. Don't stop. Maybe change this, but it's really, really good. That can be a great way to overcome perfectionism. Also, another thing, and now Stephen King says to leave your book for 6 weeks, I think it is, after you write it and before you start to try to revise or edit it. Now, I am never going to argue with the king of fiction. Not going to happen. but I'll just say that I could never let it sit for that long, but I do recommend setting it for at least 1 to 2 weeks between when you finish writing and when you try to revise and edit, because it does allow your manuscript to marinate. For one, it gives you time to step away from it and think about other things. And then when you come back, you're going to see it with a fresh pair of eyes. And you may, just may, look back at your work and realize, not as bad as I thought. That's actually pretty good. I got some typos to fix, but hey, I actually did pretty good. So wait between writing and revising. 2 more things. Don't take yourself so seriously. I mean, we all need to lighten up a little bit. Writing should be fun. It's supposed to be your passion, something you really enjoy doing. So don't get so caught up in worrying about the bad stuff, the bad feelings. Instead, enjoy this blessing. Enjoy this gift that God or the universe, whatever you believe in, has given you, and just enjoy the writing process. And finally, give yourself a break. All right? So you're not perfect. These big authors, they're not perfect, as we mentioned earlier. And it may take you 1, 2, 3 books to really get your stride and get good at it. But why are you going to wait until you feel like you're perfect? Because you're probably never going to feel that way to share your work with others or to publish your book. You may publish this one book and decide you never want to write again. And that's not very healthy. So instead, just go ahead and just give into the process and be kind to yourself and allow yourself to be imperfect. Allow yourself to be, an author who makes mistakes or who maybe isn't quite the best yet, but you're going to get better because you're going to go back to the number 1 piece of advice, which is to practice and learn and practice and learn and practice. All right. So in that regard, I want to tell you, if you need an editor, you need a book coach, you need anybody to help you, not just to teach you how to write a great novel and all the tips and tricks that we talk about on these videos, but also to motivate, encourage, and inspire you. Don't forget, I'm an author coach and a book editor. So we have those services at Write Your Best Book, and you can always reach out to me, my staff, my editors, anybody, anytime by visiting our website, writeyourbestbook.com. Check out everything from our success stories to our rates, to our services offered, all the things, the resources that we offer, the blog, the podcast, all that. Then use the contact us form to reach out and let us know how we can help you. Do you need an author coach? Well, guess what? We'll give you a free coaching call with me, nobody else, just me. And we'll offer you that for free to teach you all about how I can help you through author coaching. If you really think you're already pretty much where you need to be and your book's written and it's time to edit it, we have that too. We have a staff of 5 book editors. We'll do a free sample edit and quote for every single person that wants to even just look into it, as long as you're serious about it. And I'll do that for free. Every free sample edit takes me 1 to 2 hours, but that's time I'm willing to give you out of my day so that I can potentially help you and be your editor. So that also, if you reach out to us through the contact us page and tell us what you're looking for, author coaching, book editing, then we'll reach back out to you. We reply to everyone. We'll get you what you need, either a free coaching call or a free sample edit. Otherwise, if you're just looking for some quick help, some resources you could download on your own that are affordable, easy peasy, go to our website or go to bookbossvault.com/author resources. The link is in the description. Either through our website or that link, you can go and access the Author Resource Vault, which is 22 lessons, like these little 10-minute lessons. And they walk you through writing a great book from the beginning to the end with video tutorials and worksheets and templates and all that. And it's only $37. But depending on when you're watching this, we will be closing the vault December 31st, 2020, because we're making room for other products and a really big, exciting project I'm working on now. So get it while you can. Book Boss Vault, $37 on our website, or bookbossvault.com/author resources. And that's all the time that we have for this topic. Thanks for tuning in, YouTube, and we'll see you soon.